Picture the roar of a V8 tearing through the twisting roads of Riverside International Raceway in 1967, where the air was thick with the scent of burnt rubber and high-octane fuel. And Chevrolet's engineers were locked in a high-stakes battle not just against Ford's Mustang, but against the very rules that governed their game. This was the birth of the Chevy 302, a small-block V8 that didn't just power the Camaro Z28, it redefined what American muscle could achieve on the track, all while GM played a clever game of homologation chess to keep it legal. But why call it lost or buried alive? Because after just 3 short years, from 1967 to 1969, General Motors pulled the plug on this high-revving screamer, sidelining it in favor of bigger displacement engines that better suited their profit margins and the shifting winds of emissions regulations, leaving enthusiasts to whisper about its untapped potential for decades. Picture Vince Piggins, the unassuming Chevrolet engineer whose brainchild this was. In the mid-1960s, as the pony car wars heated up, Piggins looked at the SCCA Trans Am Series rules, capping production-based engines at 305 cubic inches, and saw opportunity where others saw restriction. He grabbed a 327 small block with its generous 4-inch bore, proven in Corvettes and high-performance Chevelles, and mated it to the shorter 3-inch stroke-forged crankshaft from the older 283, shaving off just enough displacement to hit 302.4 cubic inches, or about 5 liters, slipping neatly under the limit while inheriting the best traits of both: the breathing ease of a wide bore for high RPMs, and the balanced fury of a short stroke that let it spin like a Ferrari without shaking itself apart. According to historical accounts from Chevrolet's own archives and period Hot Rod magazine tests, this wasn't some half-baked prototype. It was a purpose-built weapon, rated conservatively at 290 horsepower and 290 pound-feet of torque at 5,800 RPM, but dyno pulls on replicas today, like those featured in Super Chevy builds, reveal closer to 350-375 horses when tuned with the factory Holley-carb and headers that sometimes ship discreetly in the trunk for racing use. Enthusiasts often ask why it felt so alive behind the wheel. Simple. That over-squared design meant piston speed stayed low even at 7,000 RPM, where most muscle engines of the era topped out around 6,000, gasping for mercy. Car and Driver's 1968 road test clocked a Z28 from 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds, with a quarter mile in the low 14s, numbers that humbled bigger V8s like the 351 Cleveland in Ford's Boss Mustang. Common questions from gearheads on forums like Team Chevelle revolve around identification. A true DZ302 block carries casting number 3956618 or 3970010 with the VIN suffix stamped on the front pad, distinguishing it from service replacements or backyard builds that swapped in 350 cranks for more torque but lost that signature scream. Yet for all its track glory, winning again in 1969 and even snagging the NHRA Superstock title for Dave Strickler, GM suits in Detroit began eyeing the bottom line. The Z28's $300-ish option price drew younger buyers seeking bang-for-buck thrills, but it cannibalized sales of pricier big blocks like the 396, which padded profits better, as noted in internal memos referenced in books like Camaro Untold Secrets. By 1970, with the second-gen Camaro debuting and federal emissions mandates looming, the 302 was deemed too specialized, too thirsty for its size, and too prone to warranty claims from owners redlining it daily. Whispers in enthusiast circles suggest it even irked insurance companies with its low-end punch disguised as a base engine, leading to higher premiums that scared off casual shoppers. Enter the burial. Production halted after 20,302 units in the extended 1969 model year, the highest yet, thanks to marketing finally embracing the Z28 as a street icon with options like the rare aluminum cross-ram intake, dual 4-barrel Holleys feeding 376 reported horsepower in race trim. What followed was a void filled by the LT1 350, a torquey powerhouse, better suited to drag strips, but lacking the 302's razor-sharp rev band. Some experts, like those at Chevy Hardcore, argue this shift marked the end of Chevy's purebred road racer ethos, trading agility for brute force as the muscle era waned under oil crises and clean air acts. But the legend refused to die quietly. Rumors swirled of lost prototypes, like Smokey Yunick's experimental turbocharged 302 for NASCAR, which officials allegedly buried to protect the status quo, or the mythical Hemi-head variant tested in secret labs, blending small block reliability with hemispherical combustion for even wilder output, though unverified beyond engineer lore. Fast forward to today, and the 302's ghost haunts collector auctions, where a numbers-matching DZ engine can fetch $15,000 alone per Hemmings listings, while resto mod builders chase that 7,000 RPM rush with modern EFI swaps, proving its DNA still pulses in high-wind tunnel projects like the 6th-gen Z28's LT4. Dive into YouTube lore and channels dissecting shocking truths echo viewer curiosities. Was it really underrated? Absolutely. Period dynos hit 357 horses stock per Motor Trend tests. Did GM fear its dominance? Reports suggest yes, as it outpaced rivals without the fuel-guzzling displacement tax. Could it return? In an EV world, perhaps as a crate engine homage, but for now it's a buried treasure unearthed by those who know. The 302 wasn't just an engine, it was Chevrolet's rebel heart, screaming defiance against conformity. And that's something worth remembering when you next hear a small block wind out to redline, echoing the wild spirit of an era when rules were made to be cleverly bent.